I'll just show you a couple of basic poses, like the basic character. Once you understand how to sketch this basic character, then you can easily push that to animate anything you want. This is a easier way to make animation a little bit faster and easier and more fun, because if we just like start doing this thing in the 3D directly, then it would take so long to get this thing done. And then I feel it is like we have these things in our head, and it is like a projector in our head and we can see those images. But then when if we just start transferring them to the 3D directly, then it takes such a long time. But if I feel if we have a like shortcut to have those ideas out of our head to on a paper and then to a 2D test or something, so that like we capture not just the poses, not just the essence of the pose, but then the transition too, like a ball bounce, like the transition, how the character moves from one pose to second pose. Sometimes it is like we see flashes of it and it is all in our head. Like in our head we can see it playing the complete action, but then we lose it. We lose the thing that we wanted to actually animate, because 3D just takes too long of a time. So I'm just showing a easier way, or a little bit faster way to get those ideas out of your head into a 2D test, and then to go from the 2D test to the 3D version of it. And you gotta take care of this thing. For the feet, it needs to align on this axis, so that it would be like this triangle and then this, so that it means like it can be this and this. It is just like a square on this axis. It is just like a square. So this is the square, but then this is the easy version. So that if he's jumping or something, then like something like this or this. So that it is basically just this shape. So it can be this shape. These are the most commonly used shape. So like when he's jumping, it would be this. Or when he's coming down, it would be this. So like this. So it is like coming down or something. So it would be this shape. We can exaggerate this. Or you can go up with this thing, so that if you can have something like this, and it's like jumping up or something, or coming down maybe. So that feels like so. This would be the feet. And once you get familiar with this shape, then it would be super easy to do anything. So these are the basic different shapes. Like either it can drag down, or it can be this. Obviously, if it is on the ground, then it would like this. Obviously, I'm exaggerating it, but then this is the shape. If you sketch this a couple of times this big, then it gets super easy. So this, and the hands are just this. Hands are just the shape. So it is basically somewhat similar. So you gotta like sketch this thumb and then this thing, and it can be it can be like it can be hands can be like this. It is somewhat similar shape, but you need to take care of the thumb. And then if it is open, then it can be like this thing. So you don't need to like get into all those details. Or it can be like, or you can like do this thing. I learned the school concept once, like if this is the hand. You see, this would be smaller, and then, but I don't care about all those things. And I'm doing the sketching. So you see, this would be the hand. So in the hand, like in the hand, it is like a triangle. So basically, it is just like this. For 2D test, you don't need to care. You can like do something like this or something. So it doesn't matter, man. It doesn't show up, but you gotta like know the shape of the hand. So that's all that it matters. And then it can extend, or it can go like this crazy. Like that is more than enough. Like you can show this thing. Like if it's sync. Even this thing works sometimes. Like and then the hand, the actual hand. This is basically the wrist, and then the hand. It can bend. Like obviously it has this from shoulder to hand, and then it can bend in any direction. And then obviously you can use this thing as like you can do this thing so that this hand is like this, and then down the finger. And obviously this is the elbow, so you are bending the hand, or it can bend in this direction. And this is this thing, and then this would be the hand. So you don't have to like spend that long in like sketching the actual hand, but you gotta like learn the structure and know the structure how it is. And then it can go in all the direction. Depends like where it is coming from, but then the hand would mostly overlap. So it can be like this. Maybe if there is a table and then there's this hand placed on the table, so that can be just like this and this. And if he's like getting his hand off the table, like maybe this is his hand, so that obviously it would drag, and you gotta learn those animation principles for that, the basic animation principle, but then still your life becomes so much easier if you like just know these basic things, know these like 2D stuff, basic 2D stuff. Maybe like you can exaggerate this even more, so it becomes like this, and this is 3D, then obviously and you can go crazy, and then when it is coming down on the table, then it can be like, and then it is gonna reach this position, so it can be like this, it can be like this. Yeah, this is just the fun thing about 2D, like you can play with this thing. So see, you don't need to like know that much of like anatomy or those things. But it is crazy, right? What you can do with 2D. And in no way you can like do this thing in 3D. Like if you just like go from your head directly to 3D, then it is like impossible. So it can like come like this, or it can like, and just before reaching here, if this is the table and this is the hand. Just before reaching here, it can be like this. This part has already reached, and then just still like dragging behind or something. Yes. And then it reaches, slams down. Let's talk about the heads. So it is obviously a ball, and if the character is looking like this, obviously I won't get into the complex stuff of mouth posing and all those things. Just for a body mechanics test, I won't like get into all those things. So it is just a ball, a line, like as eyebrow eye line, and then these two dots, so that it represents where the character is looking, and then you can like shift this thing. You gotta realize, like, in early days it used to be like this thing, like they used to divide this and this so that they can like have this guy to place the eyes and all. Obviously the eyes would be placed a little bit far from this and this, like the center line a little bit over here and here, and this line is supporting this main line, so that you can move around the line. You can like do that thing if you prefer. Like obviously this thing would be like looking in this direction or somewhat, like, so that it will be like this curve, so that it can be like, if this is the center line, so it can be like this. It is just head turn. If the character is turning in that direction, turning in that direction, so it will be like this or this. So that if we are not changing this line, but then that's a bad drawing. If we are not changing this drawing, but then we are changing this, he's looking here or here, so in center it would be like this. But then if he's more towards that direction, it might be like something like this. Or if he's in that direction, so that it can be like something like this. So that you can have a complete different like direction with just like these two dots and this paper line. Or if he's looking upwards, you can have something like this. So you can play with the hearts or something like that. So it is just like a same ball, but then so this is about the hand. We talked about the head. We talked about the hand. We talked about the feet. Three shapes of the feet. Talked about the feet. We talked about the feet. We talked about the head, and obviously in any direction. We talked about the hand. We can talk about hmm, what else? We talked about the basic. We can talk about the torso. So yeah, the torso. The torso, and then we can talk about the head. So basically, the torso can be like it is just a square, right? It is just a square. Even if you have a ball on a square, it would work fine. But then I don't feel it as great as like having this thing because it flows better, and then you can have all the crazy like exaggerated shapes with this thing, right? Like if I'm doing this thing, let's create a crazy pose. So my feet is just leaving the ground, and this is the crazy pose, right? So if I'm like coming off of the ground and jumping in the air, and this can be the torso, this can be it depends on you. But then I feel it is better to, so it can either be square or it can be like a triangle, right? And then you can mix the both so that I like the shape better. So when I'm in air, the variation can be obviously, it is exactly like the feet. It is exactly like the feet. We talked about the feet earlier. So now we talked about the feet, right? The feet getting up, the feet going down. So it is exactly like the feet, but then now instead of this thing, we can just add in, see what we can do with this thing. Now we have these shapes, right? And then we can add in this to it. Like something like this. That's not that great. Maybe something like this. So it is exactly like that. Or even if not like this, then just like illustrating and showing a point, it can be like something like this, right? So it is, and then maybe like it's like can be, this can be he's falling off a cliff or something. I don't know, something crazy. Something crazy. And then we can add in his hands too to make it like that. But then the thing is that it is the same thing. So you gotta like learn to create this basic shape and then to bend it, like push it in this direction. Push it in this direction. I can like talk about the exercise for that too, and then in this direction so that it is bend in this direction, bend in this direction. So you can have any of these things for the torso, but I prefer this. This is better than a ball and this thing, and on the feet below that, and we are done with this thing. Now we can talk about the hands. So obviously it can like all the ways we can talk about, like all the ways it can bend. So obviously you can have this C or reverse C so that it can be posed like this, it can be posed like this. Obviously this is facing that direction or that direction, or it can be in that direction, that direction. So basically you can have a pose like this or pose like this, or like a pose like this, or pose like this. These are the most common like type of poses, and obviously like you can do this thing. So once you understand, and once you like understand these basic things of how you sketch these things, these shortcuts of sketching 2D, then it becomes, everything becomes super easy. So now you can like sketch, now you know how to draw the head, you know how to sketch the hand, the easiest version of sketching the Now you know you understand how to sketch the head, the hand, the feet, and the torso. So now everything comes together. And I also like to do this thing, the torso, and then you know how to sketch the feet. Obviously, feet are like this, and then yeah, and what is left? So yeah, now we can form a character. So obviously place the ground. So now the rule of the 2D is this. This is the ground, and you cannot go below this ground. So your feet should be on this. Right? So you can create the feet. You can start creating the feet. This is a guy. This is a guy. Like if this is the ground. You can either start with the head or this thing, head or the feet, but then in the end be the same thing as this. It is one and the same. So you can start with the feet or you can start with the head, and it is just like you gotta like have the rough idea of what his height is, and then the struggle in 2D is to maintaining the ratio of his height, because in 2D like it tends to like decrease and increase all the time. So that's the basic things. That's the basic stuff. And then once you have the ground, so how I start is I just create a rough ground, and once you get familiar with this thing and once you like start to understand these things, it would be super easy. So just create a ground, start creating a character, and then like this, obviously this is our basic character, right? This is our basic character, and then you can have all kind of crazy poses if you need to like bend him in that direction. Then obviously you can like have like crazy. You can like experiment with these kind of poses, or you can push it even further so that my line of action would be something like this crazy. Then he's like really like this or something this crazy. So see, it is not that far. And if this guy is an air, then it can be like you can have a couple of variation. Obviously, in air, the ground won't matter, but then the thing is that you need to be a little bit above the ground to show that he's in air. And then I use another trick I use for 2D test is to like keep one feet bent and then the other feet one leg bent and then the other leg straight, so that he's just jump off the ground. And or maybe if he's landing on the ground, so that it would be he's landing. So obviously draw the head first, draw the head, then he's landing on the ground. So this would be torso, then this would be your feet, and you can have like this thing. And see, I want to talk about this thing. You can have this leg like this, but then it is even better if you like continue the straight line. So let's see, like, is this a better pose or is this a better pose? Having like this straight line from here. So I tend to do this thing. So it is better to like just exaggerate this thing so that there are like two purposes. So this thing flows better, this thing flows better, and then this thing is flowing better. Of this thing is obviously, I mean, this line is already flowing better, but then this line flows better too, so that it is visually interesting. So yeah, and then we can have, like, we can create a couple more poses for this thing. So now let's just create a couple of poses. The fun of it. I don't like it. And that's another thing. Like, it is super easy. Like, if you don't like a pose, you can just like delete it or just remove it because you're not attached to those poses. Let's see, like, if we can push the poses. Oh, yeah, I'll show this thing. We'll start how I push the pose. I used to draw this thing. Right? If you draw this thing, it is not bad. It is still a strong pose. But then if you just push it even further, like, you can use a new layer or something, and then you can like push it even further so that I can push this thing to the extreme. Then I can have to like something like this, something like this. Let's experiment. And if I don't like it, I can pull it back. So let's see how it turns out to be. And maybe it's like, not that great. Maybe I can get just a head or something. And then see, it is still such a strong pose, much better than what we had before. See, it is such a strong pose. And if he's a god or something, then he'll be holding this this thing, this arrow thing, and then maybe a hand, something like this. So yeah, it is, once you understand these things, it becomes like super easy. Or like if he's like about to jump, then you can be like this thing. So see, again, this is just a ball, and then this is just a torso, right? And then obviously his feet need to be on the ground, cannot go below that. So you can have something like this. And then after this thing, he can jump off the ground. That means like the next pose could be jumping off the ground. Something like this. See, it is super easy, right? And then it can be start doing this thing. And then let's get this guy out of the place. Then he can be handling something. Put one feet in the air. This would be his torso. This would be his. And we can have pose there. Something like this maybe between. We can add another. Jesus. So it jumps and he comes back down. Again, there would be a small rush. So he lands. This way comes down. And then maybe jumps again. Or he comes to a finish pose. So he gets up into this. You see, it is super easy to sketch. And obviously, in between here, will be another pose. Like the feet would be here, and then it starts moving. Obviously, I'm not like doing animation demo, but I'm just showing like how easy it is once you know this thing. So like maybe you can drag the head a bit more. So that he comes down, goes up, comes down, gets up again, ends up into this pose. Obviously, yeah, there will be overshoot and coming back, but then it is super easy. Like once you understand this power of 2D, then obviously like start doing this thing, start doing the 2D tests.